My largest financial fear, I don't know about the rest of you, is being able to make a lot of money and then simply ignoring it. This video will cover XRP, the crazy opportunity that exists in that ecosystem, and why I believe many of you who are probably not acting right now should think about doing so. If you share this fear, for example, you want to make sure that you're actually securing profits right now, and that you're not missing out on crazy opportunities, you'll want to listen to it. And in today's video, we're going to use a lot of factually based logical material to give you guys a decent sense of why that is the case. And there are numerous explanations. I want to tell you all a short story first though. I was researching how to get Bitcoin around 10 or so years ago, actually a little over that, about 12 years ago. This is the time when the price of Bitcoin was literally 1,000th of what it is now. And the fact that one of the exchangers that was accessible at the time had been compromised made me nervous. I essentially made the decision not to buy Bitcoin as a result. And I still regret that choice every day, since it would have drastically changed my family's and my own lives if I had invested even $100 in Bitcoin at the time. Furthermore, it's impossible to predict when I would have sold that Bitcoin. Perhaps if it had grown to $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000, I would have sold it. I might have waited till it was worth millions of dollars instead. That's one of my greatest regrets, but there's no way to tell for sure. And I don't want any of you to have regrets like that either. Because to be honest, it's terrible when you have the chance to earn millions of dollars and you turn it down. And I don't want any of you to grow up to regret or be afraid of that. Okay, so that's why I'm creating the video today. Having stated that, several things are happening in the markets at the moment and you people are being defrauded. The game that 100% retail is playing is, to put it simply, unfair. And I'd want to tell you why. Thus, this brief excerpt from the Kaposi letter truly brings it to light. Retail was simply defrauded, he claims. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent stated yesterday at 12 p.m. Eastern that he believes the current state of affairs with China is unsustainable and that he sees a de-escalation. These remarks were made during a summit of investors that J.P. Morgan and Chase hosted behind closed doors. Neither the public nor the media were allowed to attend this summit. President Trump then declared at 5:18 p.m. that tariffs on China would not reach 145%. Before the public knew it, Bessent successfully informed a select number of Wall Street investors that a de-escalation with China was imminent. As a result, the S&P 500 futures saw a 5% increase, bringing the market capitalization to $2.2 trillion. These headlines were front-runners for investors at the J.P. Morgan event. Retail investors are not treated fairly by this. I don't think this is fair, and neither do you folks. Because these individuals are using privileged insider information long before anyone else discovers it. And they are actually taking action on it in front of us, profiting from this knowledge to the tune of billions of dollars. Their ability to generate trillions of dollars in market capitalization gains before we even see the news headline, and wonder why the markets are pumping or dumping, is completely absurd. The reason behind this is that these insiders possess privileged information, which is completely unfair. Having said that, it does not imply that you are incapable of earning money, but you should be mindful of this. It's clear that the game we're playing is unfair. Having said that, Bitcoin did in fact recover $94,000 to $95,000, which is completely crazy. It also surpassed Google to become the fifth largest asset globally in terms of market capitalization. It is utterly unheard of and completely ridiculous that the Bitcoin industry is actually surpassing the technical stock sector by a significant margin. Indeed, there were moments during the earlier bull runs when cryptocurrencies with smaller market caps completely outperformed them. But given the scale of Bitcoin right now, it's crazy to watch this happen again in real time. Given the tremendous gains that Bitcoin, XRP, and other well-known cryptocurrencies are still seeing, it is clear that they have a lot more room to expand. Having said that, there are other significant developments in this tariff discussion than China. Additionally, we notice that Vietnam and the U.S. are beginning to negotiate. A trade agreement between India and the U.S. has been finalized. Russia wants to put an end to the conflict once more. This week is seeing a resurgence of positive news headlines from throughout the globe. Additionally, I do believe that we will witness another rally of the end-of-month variety, as we have seen in the past. Perhaps it will continue till May 1st or May 2nd. To be honest, these markets are being manipulated insanely once more. Therefore, we will be closely monitoring everything that occurs here. Indeed, there is a great deal of money to be made here, and I will teach you all how to accomplish it. Having said that, it is expected that the United States will lower its tariffs on China by 50%. It will decrease by 50%, not 100%, on those tariffs. not 145. That's a significant difference, and the markets were kind of waiting for this news before they started to rise. The majority of the favorable price action that occurred yesterday and today can be attributed to this. Unfortunately, this information is being presented to us by Wall Street, JP Morgan, Chase, and other large bankers who handle trillions of dollars and billions of dollars worth of transactions. This is obviously unfair. Having said that, XRP has experienced a significant upswing. As you can see, we bought exactly here before a lot of the price action that we did receive. Since then, we have increased the price even further, and we are currently at around $2 per coin. The amount of XRP we've actually run up here is very astounding. Furthermore, I don't believe that a price drop below $2 is likely to occur anytime soon. However, I do believe that all positive things must come to an end, and as the US lowers tariffs, China will eventually respond and take action, which I don't think will be beneficial. Donald Trump reversing his tariffs, in my opinion, is a display of weakness and supports much of what China was arguing. Therefore, it will be a difficult time for the markets once more because it will bring even more uncertainty if Trump lowers his tariffs and China decides to become more aggressive towards the United States because they believe they are winning this Drano struggle. Additionally, China is currently assuming a somewhat hostile posture towards the United States and essentially attempting to destroy American public relations globally. Now it is entirely up to the world to determine whether or not they are effective in doing that. I don't know how this will actually turn out. However, they have made it quite clear that they would at least make an effort. Additionally, it will undoubtedly affect the markets, so you should definitely get ready for it. Now, what can we really, sort of swap around, and what do we know for sure? You can observe that the absolute bottom support line for XRP has dropped significantly from its prior position when we examine indicators like the Fibonacci-Bollinger Bands, which are among my personal favorites on TradingView. Even a few days ago, when XRP was trading at about $2.10. Right now, the lowest support line that you can see where my mouse is located is $1.96. But right now, the top resistance line up to this point is positioned at roughly $2.38. Stated differently, we have a lot more space to fall than we do to rise. This is only a short-term solution, and it is also supported once more. For those of you crazy people in the discussion who will be furious about it, this is a very short-term solution. Alright, this is only about the immediate future. The daily stochastic RSI also supports this. You may see a few pleasant green days when you look at the daily stochastic RSI, but notice how this chart is maxing out in the overbought group, which typically indicates that a correction is about to happen. Since what date, say April 12th, have we been in this zone? We have been here for over 12 days, which is a considerable amount of time. Usually, once it has been overbought for that long, there is a significant gain and a respectable pullback. And this is essentially what we've seen during the supercycle of elections. Therefore, yeah, I do believe that if we have some really good positive news, we might break through resistance lines, but it's also very possible that we'll see a pretty sharp reversal. You want to be ready for both, don't you? To be honest, nobody outside of the insiders who have access to this exclusive information before us knows exactly what will happen with the markets, but you can prepare for both.